Yo, what's going on guys, it's Cynical and welcome back to another video. Today for you guys, we've got yet another piece of Square Enix news to talk about, and today's piece, just like yesterday's piece to do with Babylon's Fall, isn't exactly the most positive of news slices. It's another piece of moldy pumpkin pie, and it kind of takes me by surprise. It's a pretty wild piece, so are you ready for this? Luminous Productions, the dudes responsible for the recent Forspoken and also the development team behind Final Fantasy 15 back in 2016, have now merged with Square Enix. Effectively, this studio is shutting down. This came in an update message from Luminous Productions, but was also announced in a recent Square Enix Holdings meeting, with them saying, "You may have heard the news that Luminous Productions is merging with Square Enix beginning on May 1st. Our talented team will join Square Enix to deliver new, innovative gaming experiences to players across the globe. Between now and then, we remain entirely focused on Forspoken. We are currently working on the previously announced patch to address overall game performance. We will deliver an update soon, and the DLC, Entanto We Trust, is on track for release this summer. Thank you again for your patience and support." When we established Luminous Productions in 2018, our vision was to make AAA games that fuse technology and artistry to deliver completely new play experiences. Having the chance to do just that has been a dream come true. We appreciate you taking this journey with us and look forward to continuing to create new entertainment and experiences as part of the Square Enix family. So while this is a closure of the Luminous Productions brand and team overall, it doesn't mean that all of the members within the team are just straight up leaving Square Enix. Of course, they will be reshuffled into different avenues of Square Enix to help out with an assortment of teams. No doubt, I would say quite a few of them will probably now be assisting with the development of Final Fantasy 16. I did actually hear somewhere, while I can't find the source, that some of the writers of Forspoken are actually helping out the Final Fantasy 16 team, which I know for some people that might disgruntle you a little bit. Again, don't have the source, can't confirm that, but that is something that I saw floating around. But it is absolutely wild to see this happening so soon after the release of Forspoken, and even though I thoroughly enjoyed Forspoken, didn't think it was the greatest thing of all time, and I certainly do not believe it's deserved the amount of backlash, hate, and absolute stampeding of dust flicked up in its face that it ended up receiving, I have no doubt in my mind that Forspoken has something to do with the closure of Luminous Productions. It kind of seems like Square Enix were putting a lot of money on Forspoken for it to be a big hit, to be one of their hopeful next big AAA IPs from the studio. It was a game that was at the forefront of the original PlayStation 5 showcase to show off some of the very first upcoming games for PS5. To have a slot like that is pretty massive, and you can tell that Square Enix were really wanting this to be something huge. No doubt a lot of money was funneled into this project. Forspoken has, without a doubt, not performed the way that I'm assuming Square Enix wanted it to perform. And while there isn't any official sales figures, and we probably won't receive those until sometime next year, we can already tell from the reception alone that it definitely underperformed. Like, just looking at the Metacritic reviews of 64, and also looking at their user reviews, though a lot of this is absolute review bombing, of 3.4, it's clear to say that this just wasn't the hit that Square Enix were intending it to be. It was also wild to see, too, that in the same week of release, Forspoken was already $10 off over on Amazon. It's currently not right now, it's back up to full price, but that's generally not a good thing to see within the initial release week. The only sort of information that we have currently for the sales of Forspoken is the game rankings for the month of January for the PlayStation Store. When looking at Japan, Forspoken actually hit the number 2 spot for the month of January. Forspoken has actually been doing pretty well in Japan, even when it comes to the just general reception. I think a lot of people in Japan are really enjoying this game. Kind of makes sense to me, but then we look at like US and Canada, Forspoken is at the number 7 spot, and considering that this was meant to be a heavy hitter, big blockbuster game for the month of January, having it down at that number 7 spot isn't the best thing to see. You do have heavy hitters above it like MW2, Dead Space, Grand Theft Auto 5, because of course Grand Theft Auto 5 years and years after release is still dominating. And of course those sports games, that does make sense, but it's not a good place to be if of course this was intended to be a massive hitter. If we do look at the European game sales data, and this comes down to physical games for the month of January, Forspoken is sitting at number 11, which again is not a good spot to be in. I'm also assuming too that when looking at the Luminous engine, this is the in-house Square Enix engine that was used to develop Final Fantasy 15 as well as Forspoken, will also be repurposed as well. I don't think this is going to be the last time we end up seeing that engine. It is an engine that has a lot of potential, and I do believe that while Forspoken isn't the most visually striking game, it's certainly powerful in areas. The combat in that game can be absolutely flashy, and some of the vistas are pretty jaw-dropping. I think just if utilized right and in the right setting, the Luminous engine could get a lot of use out of it, and so I don't think this is the last time we'll see a project come from it, but we are seeing that a lot of developers now are stepping away from their own in-house engines, and of course leaning more towards Unreal Engine, especially with this generation. We saw a lot of games come out last gen, Unreal 4, seems like more and more dev teams are now kind of stepping onto the Unreal team to suit up for Unreal 5. We already know Square Enix do have history now with Unreal Engine. When looking at Kingdom Hearts 4, that will be an Unreal Engine 5 project, so they're probably looking towards that direction of maybe we should start using that opposed to our own in-house engine, something like Luminous. But again, I do hope to see more of that engine being used for hopefully some future titles of theirs. We'll have to wait and see on that part. The good thing to know though is Forspoken is still going to be supported, so even though the closure of Luminous Productions is going ahead May 1st, the game will still receive support, including the DLC and Tanta We Trust. So I am personally looking forward to that. Again, enjoyed my time with Forspoken, don't think it's the best thing ever, but more of it is kind of cool. Obviously there were some flaws there, and I can understand some of the I guess negative reception towards the game, especially in the way that it approached the whole open world sense of things. It is an open world collectathon through and through. It really doesn't do anything new to the open world genre, and it doesn't break any new grounds. It's just a fun, enjoyable time. As I think I mentioned in my review, kind of video game junk food. But yeah, clearly, I think that this absolutely screams that Luminous Productions didn't quite meet Square Enix's overall expectations. So guys, that is all for today. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news over the past couple of days, but I thought you guys would find this interesting for sure. It will be interesting to see going forward exactly how the talents of Luminous Productions are repurposed, because again, this is a studio that I do believe wholeheartedly had a lot of potential, and I hope that potential is now funneled into other things that are going on. Possibly even, you know, when we look at the Osaka team for Kingdom Hearts 4 currently, I would say it's very likely that quite a few of the people that were working in Luminous Productions will end up being repurposed over there. However guys, leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. As always, make sure that you're sub-dubbed to the channel. My social links are in the description down below, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.